Welcome to episode 2 of the as yet not officially named podcast, with just the three of us, basically with a roundtable chat.
We are pathetic. We've had like 2 months to do this, man. Fuck's sake.
We've asked everyone. We've asked ChatGPT. We've asked our Discord servers, and we've got great suggestions. We just haven't all three of us gone, yes, that's the one. So we'll figure that out. But anyway, we're going to chat about what's going on in the metal music scene according to the spheres that we're in ourselves, and see what's cracking in each of our lives, and maybe play a couple of parlor games as we go along, have a bit of fun. We'll see how we go.
Yes,
First off, Drew, how are you, man? Between the last episode and this one, you've been to Brazil?
Yeah, man.
How was that?
We just had a little chat off air, I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. Going through a rut, man, trying to get back into things, but, we're taking over. Brazil was fantastic. A taste of a completely different life to Ireland, went from the midst of the winter in Ireland to the summer in Brazil, back to the snow in Ireland. So that's been a bit of a shock to the system, but we're doing good, man. We're doing good. Back into the grind. So taking over.
Happy grind.
Yes, absolutely. No, things are good, man. Things are good. Can't complain.
Great. Yeah, I mean, you just saw Tesseract in a pretty fun way, right?
Yes, I did indeed. Tesseract, Unprocessed, and the Callistale Boys in Dublin. Yeah, man. I know.
Now, I saw your review there, Drew.
Yeah.
It sounds like Metalbird was an ooh for the Callistale Boys. Are you a fan of them? Because Drew was not so sure.
Well, I like all the bands. I love Tesseract and Unprocessed too, but I was just surprised to see Callistale Boys on that bill too. They're a cool band. They're upcoming, and I think they're doing some cool things. So that's just sick for them to get on that bill.
I've heard one of their songs, and it was mental.
Yeah.
I think it was the strangest song I've ever heard.
It's cool, yeah. It's not for everybody, but I appreciate them trying to do something different. Like, you guys listen to Dillinger Escape Plan at all, or those kind of mathcore bands?
Way back in the day, I heard some of them, and I hated it because it was pre-metal for me. I was like not ready for scream vocals. I'm like, this is trash. Now I'd probably quite like it.
Yeah, the Callistale Boys is it feels like a reincarnation of Dillinger a little bit.
Yeah, they had like a weird combination of instruments and everything on stage. It was because I think I checked out like one track on stream before, and I'm pretty sure I just wasn't a fan of it at all. And we had a bit of a laugh about it, and then seeing they were on the bill, so I was like, yeah, okay, cool. But to be honest, like, I'm not one of these guys that goes to shows to like, if I'm going to a particular band, I don't care too much for going to bands just like to make sure that I get the most out of the ticket that I bought to like see every single band on the set. Like, if I don't like the band, or if I, I'm too interested in going to see them, I won't like go out of my way to be there. But just in this instance, I happened to be in there a little bit earlier, and they were playing, and I mean, they seem to be a decent act live in terms of the crowd's reception, but just for me, their overall sound, I just, I'd kind of known going in that I wasn't going to be the biggest fan, but bit chaotic, mental. I haven't heard much of the Dillinger Escape Plan either, but I know that that's obviously a a band that is similar, I suppose, in style. So yeah, but Unprocessed and Tesseract, man, were fucking fantastic. Absolutely unbelievable bands.
Yeah,
I'm a day removed from seeing Polaris and Silent Planet and Pale Dusk and Thornhill. And I had a similar thing with Pale Dusk because they're mental. They're all over the shop, genre and timing wise. Yeah. And I knew going in, like, I'm not probably going to love this, but it's going to be interesting. And it was really entertaining. They were doing roundhouse kicks and jumping all over the stage.
Yeah, I seen your Instagram with the guy doing all the spins and shit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually watched a video to it as well. It seemed like a Polaris put on an insane show as well, man. It's weird that they're back in the UK, because they just do the UK and then they came to Dublin for that one-off show. And then they went home.
I don't think they did the UK as part of that, but maybe
really? Maybe it was just a Europe show and they randomly came to, because it would seem strange that I'm pretty sure they came from the UK to Dublin, because it would make sense to kind of go across on the ferry. But anyway, yeah, either way, they're back this direction, Yeah, but great bands again, man. That show looks stacked. Silent Planet, Thornhill, Pale Dusk.
Yeah.
Similar to the North American tour, right? They just, instead of Pale Dusk, it's Johnny Booth. Oh wait, you guys want to know? You're not in North America. You don't care.
You tell me.
I think that is. Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think I remember seeing that bill. Polaris have been fucking non-stop, man, since the albums come out. They've been all over the place.
Yeah, Polaris is sick. I want to see Johnny Booth live. That's one band that I really like. I think you guys were a little bit mixed opinions on them.
Yeah, positive overall. I think I gave the album a Ooh, what did I give it? Either a solid or delicious. There's some incredibly clever things they were doing, and it was very elevated, like hardcore. But it's sometimes it feels like mayhem for the sake of mayhem, and I don't know that I necessarily enjoy a lot of that. But certainly to be applauded what they did. There's some really interesting stuff within that album, so it might be a grower for me.
Oh, I love Mayhem. I love the Giant Booth. I love the Pale Dusk. I love the Callous Boys. That stuff. I know it's not for everyone, but I totally can get behind the whole craziness of that kind of stuff.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay here.
No, go ahead, man.
And I was just gonna say, like, I mean, there's like with those kind of chaotic bands, like I'm all for. I feel like there's just for me personally, like a nice middle ground, because you know we have the very cookie cutter, very predictable tracks that I'm sick of, but then there's also the other end of the spectrum, bands like you just mentioned that are so far down the experimental route that it becomes a bit, you know, incoherent for me. So it's just somewhere in the middle. Like I like to understand where a track's going for the most part, with a few, you know, change ups here and there. So it's just trying to balance the two. So I kind of fall somewhere in the middle. A little bit boring, but you know.
No, I'd agree. I'm similar. Like if I'm thinking what's a nice sweet spot in the middle, for me it's probably System of a Down. Because they're quite experimental and surprising all the time in a lot of their songs, and yet they somehow have a simplicity with the hooks that can draw you in, and they'll give you a taste of melody that you're like, cool. But yeah, there's definitely some where they go so far in the direction of chaos that it just feels to me like it's an academic expression of how talented I am and how complex my songwriting can be, which I'm not really that interested in. I want a great song within it.
Does it surprise you that I just listened to Toxicity for the first time this year?
Yeah, that was pretty wild. How did that happen? How'd that happen?
Because I'm not a huge like new metal person. I never got into those kind of bands growing up, and I was also so closed-minded when I was younger. Like when it came to metal music, I was so hipster, just like, oh, System of a Down, Slipknot, Korn, all these big bands that the typical metalheads liked. I'm like, I don't care for it because I like my niche bands, right? I was listening to bands that people didn't know of, and I thought I was way cooler for that. But then I realized, you know, growing up, like, oh man, I was a total dumbass. Like these bands are actually so good. So I reviewed Toxicity, and it's also because like I like their songs. Like I love Chop Suey, that song's incredible, but I just feel like I don't know, I had no urge to really check them out. I had a good idea of what they were going to sound like, so I checked out the album, and it's one of the few 10 out of 10s I've ever given to an album. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
really?
incredible.
Yeah.
Like
this is Toxicity.
Yeah, well, I think it just, especially for its time, I'm like, this is just, there's nothing else like it. Every member is so crucial to the sound. Like, it's so wicked fun. It's so catchy, and it has a message, so much passion. It's an incredible album.
I haven't checked it out either, so I need.
What the fuck?
That's a great.
You should have done a double react.
Yeah, that's a great. What's the word? Like advertisement for checking out that album, man. It's kind of in the same boat where it's like there's just so much back catalog of different bands that I guess have paved the way that I've just not got a chance to get around to them, and there is bands that I kind of like, I guess would be in that same ballpark where I just feel like from the small snippets I've heard, like, you know, Chop Suey, classic tracks, I'm kind of like, yeah, classic track, but I just don't see myself enjoying a full album of that style if that's the case. But I kind of like to treat those albums as almost like history lessons, and like, you know, well, like, you know what I mean? But like, as in, just to kind of understand
just showing
the
my
bands age. You're not called Daddy Steve for nothing. But yeah, like, bro, it's like kind of, it's more like just to go back and you know, I guess educate myself more, so to go back and see where, you know, certain bands that have paved the way, you know, got their sound from, and how they've kind of pushed that onto newer bands, you know.
I just did that with Meshuggah Obzen too, which is an album that you really like, right, Drew?
Yes, cracking album, man. Yeah, that was one of the first kind of like progressive gents albums that I ever checked out. But fucking sick, man. Yeah, Meshuggah are great. One of my favorite bands.
I've heard a grand total of, I'm going to say, 2 songs by Meshuggah ever.
It's mental how like we have this kind of weird dynamic of you haven't heard like you're like, oh, you feel old for not hearing it, and then I'm looking at you like you haven't heard Meshuggah about you know, it's just this whole big cluster of which bands we have and haven't heard. But yeah, Meshuggah, I think for your love for the grooves and stuff, I think, man, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
Yeah, I know the song Bleed because it's massively famous, and there was another one that Thomas Hake did the drum playthrough in.
Oh, Clockworks, I think.
And that was fucking cool.
I think I've seen your video for
that was awesome.
Clockworks, yeah.
But the problem is, like, because there's so much music to listen to, I checked that out. I'm like, oh my God, I need to check out more Meshuggah. It's like, but I put that on the pile of the other 100 bands I need to listen to. I'm like, I can't listen to it all.
Sure.
Life story, yeah, my life story.
Yeah.
And then people get shocked. They're always just like, "Oh my God, you haven't heard of this yet?" Like, I don't have the time to check out all the music. Like, I take it as a compliment that people expect you to like know everything as like a metal content creator. But like, no one has ever listened to every single album by every single band, right? It's like it's impossible. There's no time in the day. But yeah, Meshuggah, dude, like I was like, it's because I find Meshuggah's music a little bit repetitive. Like Bleed, of course, is sick. And like I checked out their new album, Mutable. I'm like, yeah, this is what I expected. It's quite repetitive. But I'm like, you know what? I really want to get into Meshuggah because I know they're the Gent Godfather. I'm more of a Sixth fan when it came to Gent. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sixth, but they're awesome. So Meshuggah, I checked out Obzen and bro. As soon as the first track opens up with that riff, I'm like, I'm fucking sold. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's just a great blend of like the, I guess, more classic Sugar grooves with these big, slow, sludgy breakdowns and just fun riffs. So, yeah, that's definitely a classic album for sure, Steve. If you're going to check one out by Meshuggah.
It sounds fun.
Yeah,
from the description.
It's very fun. Yeah. But they're also
Sixth or another one of those chaotic bands that's like at times madly busy.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with Sick. I've heard a couple of their tracks on streams and stuff, but I've not checked out any full albums. So I try to reserve judgment on bands that I haven't at least checked out one album by, because I feel like you kind of can't really fully get a full grasp of the sound until you've just heard, I guess, their intended song structure and flows from, you know, the start to the end. You know, obviously you can get a brief idea with certain tracks, but you know, hearing one single, it could be an experimental one that happens to be popular, but the rest of their discography sounds completely different to that, you know. So
true indeed.
Yeah.
Burb, what's been going on in your world lately?
Let's see, man. It's funny how Drew was talking about being in a rut a little bit, and honestly, I was too, because you know, behind the scenes on the channel, I was having a lot of dilemma and trying to figure out what I want to do with my channel, because like I had like these ideas for 2024. I don't want to repeat myself every year, so I always try doing different things. So I'm like, time for a change, try do different things, do less reactions. And so, you know, when I was making my videos, I was trying to talk about popular topics in the metal scene, but then also try to, you know, bring in some mental health topics too, because I like talking about this stuff. But it was so hit or miss, and I lost the passion for reactions, and I felt like there wasn't enough good music for me to feature. So just like what Drew was saying, like I just felt like I don't feel like putting out content, and I just want to hone in on views, and I was getting a little bit distracted by views a little bit. And so I was getting conflicted about, can I do this full time, actually? So I was literally thinking like, oh man, I'm going to be turning 34 this year. Can I continue to do this full time? So in February, I kind of just like honed in and just, you know, from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. working on videos. Mind you, I'm going to the gym and I might be doing groceries in between, walking my dog. But literally, that's my work day is 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And at 9 p.m., I know, and I finish at 9 p.m. like no matter what, I can't do anymore. That's it. That's my hard stop.
Tick that earlier in the day, Sarah.
But honestly, dude, like I was in a good working groove where I was feeling the passion for reactions, because like I think the YouTube algorithm is just like, no, screw you, you're a reaction channel, that's what you're getting, you're only going to show the videos that are reaction videos. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it and just, you know, find my passion for it again. And I kind of did, and February ended up being a really good month for me, and I was really surprised by that. So I was just having a lot of dilemma, and needless to say, I am going to continue to do my best to do this full time. And another reason why I'm having this dilemma, I don't know if I told you guys the news yet, but I'm going to be moving because I got a house.
Let's go. Congratulations,
nice.
my friend.
I know.
Do you know, I actually was in Orion's stream for like 2 seconds today, and I seen you guys back and forth, so I did actually somehow know that, so I wasn't spoiled by that, because I know you were saying
did you now?
Yeah.
Is it the traffic lights that sing to you? That's the one you're trying to get away from?
What's that?
Is it the traffic lights next to your house are singing to you some melody you're trying to get away from?
I told you guys about that creepy melody. They actually turned down the volume on it because someone else must have complained about it. It literally was, this place where I'm living at, it's only a temporary place. I don't think people realize that. I've gotten comments saying like, is Burb reacting in a hospital? Because it looks like I have like hospital windows or something. But yeah, I can't wait to have my own place. The funny thing is the mortgage payments are going to be cheaper than my rent. which is the insane part, because Toronto is just ridiculous. I'm moving outside the city. The city is so overpriced.
Yeah.
Can't wait to move out.
Sick, man. Congratulations. That's
thank you.
That's unbelievable. I'm jealous. I need to get out of here, man. I need to get out of the dog kennel I'm in.
I didn't realize just how remote you were, even in, because Ireland's a fairly remote place, but even within Ireland, I thought you were more. I assumed you were kind of Dublin based, but you're kind of outskirts.
Yeah, well, I guess it's like, compared to the likes of London, everything is pretty rural in Dublin in general. But you know, I'm not too like, it's not too bad. It's just more so like, unless you have a car, you're really, you know, you can get buses and trains and shit into town, but you know, yeah. But yeah, no, man, just even to touch on what Verb was saying as well, like, I completely resonate with that. I know, I don't think we were recording at the start of it, but with the whole, like, you know, dilemma, do I want to do this full time, you know, yada yada yada. My position was more so because, you know, I've come back from a holiday, you know, and this is not like a feel sorry for me little, you know, thing, because, you know, life's good, you know, I get to do what I want to do for a living. Yeah, I was back from a fucking 3-week holiday in Brazil. I'm like, ugh. But you know, the point is that obviously I left my job around this time last year, which, you know, was a risk, but at the same time, you know, worst case scenario, I just said I'd just go back to the job if it didn't work out. And, you know, I don't regret it, because I think the worst thing I could have done was, you know, still be in the office job right now and a whole year haven't been passed and just saying, I wonder what would have happened if I took that risk. So, you know, I'm glad I took the risk, but now I do understand, you know, from living the last year that, you know, the passion for doing it, as much as I still love doing it, and I'd prefer to do this than being in an office doing something I hated regardless, but it does wear thin a lot faster when you now have to do it. Because when I was working the office job, you know, I'd be in a position where if I didn't want to film a video on that day, I simply didn't have to. Or if I didn't want to stream, if I didn't feel like it, I simply didn't have to. But now when you have to do something because you're like, you know, you have the stress and the anxiety, and this doesn't just apply to my job, this applies to anyone who starts a business or goes their own way. You know, it can take the passion out of doing something that you started because it was your passion and turning it into a business in the first place. So yeah, so like completely relatable. Like obviously me and Burb's situation is slightly different, but I guess very relatable what he's saying. But I've been kind of like, you know, obviously you get the post-holiday depression when you come back and you're like back to reality. Yep. But that's definitely, you know, it made me kind of think about, you know, my situation. I'm like, do I just go back to the office? Not necessarily because I have to from a financial standpoint, but more so because it takes the pressure off the having to make videos, and then the passion should flood back into it because I can now do it when I want, you know. So that was just, you know, it's actually nice to hear Burb's side of the story as well, you know.
Oh, we can relate in so many ways, man.
Yeah,
sorry, Steve, not to interrupt.
For sure. Go ahead, Steve.
No, you're kind of saying that it's a tricky thing, and it's a very natural human thing for a couple of reasons. One, anytime you're like, you have to do this thing, it's like, well, now I don't want to. Yeah, maybe I don't want to now.
Oh my God.
But also, what's a very human thing is it's fucking, we've just got into March.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of robbed of vitamin D and sunshine. This is the toughest time of the year. Spring is just happening. We don't realize how much of an effect that has on us. Like, that Brazil trip would have been great for you. I had a week in Portugal and it wasn't even that great. It was like 20 degrees Celsius. But even just that amount, the week after that, I felt so alive, even in dreary London with the rain. It's like, oh, there's something to this seasonal change. So don't beat yourself up too much. Like,
for sure.
The ebb and flow of life, the motivation is going to come back anyway at some point next few weeks.
Absolutely.
It's a good point. The seasonal depression should be bad, but I don't know about you guys, but Canada, like here, it's been unusually warm. It's been a very warm winter. Has it been for you guys too?
It has a bit, yeah. There's been a couple of cold snaps, but mostly kind of mild. But that's not even about the temperature. It's about the amount of sunlight you're getting, which will be the same no matter even if it's slightly warmer. The sun will still be the same position in the sky per day at that time of year in Canada.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, no, it's been all right. I mean, we had a little bit of snow there for like a couple hours, and it got really heavy, and then the rain came and just ruined everything. But yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, the winter months, like, you know, you get like, it's not too bad now because I'm not like up at the first thing in the morning to get a train in the darkness, and then in the office all day, and then missing all the sunshine, and then, you know, because at least when I'm at home I can, you know, go for a walk and kind of go on my own time. So that's a huge benefit that, you know, it's easy to forget sometimes. But yeah, no, like you said, ebbs and flows of life. It's just, you need to keep telling yourself these things. But you know, can't complain. There's people who have it much worse. You know, this is a fucking
Yeah,
fantastic
but
position to be in, you know, but you're allowed to have a little moan here and there.
100%.
You know? Yeah.
It's relative to your normal experience.
For sure.
No matter what your situation is, you can't be comparing it to someone else's at the same time. It's relevant to how you're feeling, what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know
So what are
else?
some positives we can take in the last few weeks? What are some moments within your streams or within your videos you're like, fuck, this band that I never heard before is amazing, or this song is incredible? Anything that comes to mind?
Well, I actually totally revamped my stream setup and make it look a little bit different. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I just wanted to do a couple things, and I feel like the new look has just rejuvenated my streaming, and I feel much more like a pro streamer now, and it just makes me much more excited to go live stream again, because I was doing like the same thing over and over, and like I feel like since upgrading the setup, my viewer count has been a little bit higher than usual. I think it's encouraging people to stay a little bit longer. Maybe because it's just, you know, it's fresh looking, but that's something that's a huge positive, is like I finally got to work on something that I've been meaning to do for the longest time, was change the way that my stream setup was. Finally did it, and now I'm excited to live stream. Like I'm looking forward to my Wednesday stream just so I can do it again.
Nice. That's
For sure,
great.
man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Since the last
Positivity.
podcast we've done, I have started streaming. I did never stream
Yes,
before.
I completely
Yeah,
forgot
tell
about
us
this.
about it.
Let's go.
It's so much fun. I mean, I remember being in London, catching up with you guys before the Sleep Token gig, and saying like, yeah, I'd like the idea of live stream, but like, who the fuck's gonna watch? I don't think I have an audience size for that, because you guys got 100 and whatever 1,000 subs, and Metalbear was like, oh, you've got the audience. You can totally do it. It's like, no way. I was like, fuck it, I'll try one, and like, I love my average of like 10 people, you know, per view. It's fucking phenomenal. It's a much more entertaining and exciting experience for me checking out songs, because as soon as I check out a song and I'm rating it, reviewing it, I immediately want to know, like, what does everyone else think? But I've got it right there with the folks that are kind of joining me live, and we're chatting, and they're rating it as well. They're going like, this is solid, this is delicious, or whatever. It's really good fun.
Yeah.
And I've actually enjoyed the chat part more in a lot of ways from the start than some of the reaction bits and pieces. That's the fun bit. You kind of forget sometimes, oh, maybe this will end up on YouTube. I'm just enthralled with the interactive nature of it. It's great crack.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, the community becomes a big part of what you're doing. Like, you already see in the comments, right? But actually seeing and engaging with the chat totally changes how you view these reactions. And it's like, oh, they're like, you get to know their personalities, and it becomes much more of a community thing. Do you guys hear my dog?
No.
No, he's
it's all
hacking.
good, man. It's all good.
And you know what, man? Like, to that point of the much more of a community thing, it is much closer to the reason that reaction channels exist at all. And it is rooted in that thing of like, oh fuck, I've just found this new band, and you go to your friend's house and you're like, you put the CD in the hi-fi system. Sorry, Drew, you're too young for this maybe. And then you're like, listen to this is fucking amazing. And you have that immediate interaction between the two of you as you check out this new thing, and one of you knows it already and the other one's hearing it for the first time. That it now exists in Twitch in that live interactive way, and it's fucking brilliant.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can gamify it as well, and you know, I know Burb does it, and like myself as well, but like, you know, you can do like a track of the night system where, you know, you kind of incentivize people to get involved, and then it's like, who knows your taste the best, and it just literally becomes like you're listening to music with a lot of pals. And then, you know, even for like the, I guess, the more technical side of things where you're reviewing it, or you're just giving your like, I guess, more detailed opinion on it, you have the, I guess, fallback of the chat. You know, if there's, it might just be a simple word that someone mentions in the chat, and you know, your brain just goes there. Whereas if you're sitting here by yourself, you may not have that kind of like, just that little bit of inspiration, and then all of a sudden someone will mention something about something you may have even forgotten about, and so you'll just go on a tangent. And it's good to kind of like bounce off the chat as well, you know, and then people watching on YouTube can see that, and they can understand, you know, where it came from with that, because they can see it on the screen. So yeah, it's really cool, man. Live stream is great.
The only risk with it is that there
Get
is
cancelled.
a risk of it being slightly distracting during the
Just say
that's
that
the real risk.
just on your live. That's the only
live.
risk.
Yeah, live is scary. No, but it can be distracting if I want to just pay attention to the song, and if I'm reading the chat, I'm maybe not paying as much attention. I don't want to miss moments in the song, so that's a tough balance. I might try and experiment on the next stream, being like, let the chat know I'm not going to read the chat at all during the song, and then like if I'm pretty sure immediately afterwards, like, this is a delicious or high, this is going to go on the YouTube channel, then I'll do a much more focus to the camera like review thing. Otherwise I'll be like, chat, let's crack it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yep, and some of them really demand your attention sometimes. And then you got to also like review the song too, especially if they're like donating. You don't want to just be distracted the whole time, right? So there's times where like I'll rewind a certain part of a song. Like I was clearly talking over this part. Let me hear that again, and how they got into this breakdown or whatever. But yeah, live stream's cool, man.
Yeah. Live streaming's fantastic. Absolutely. Do we want to do these? Because I feel like we could spend a lot of time on these, man. Because I have one question first, because I did ask my Discord just briefly, because I knew we didn't have a lot prepared going in. So, have we got anything else that we need to like touch on? I'm trying to think of any like glaring topics that we need to discuss since the last podcast. Because from my perspective, there's not like compared to the last time, we had all the Sleep Token drama. We had obviously Spirit Box going up for the Grammy. We had a good few things going on. We had the beef with like, you know, Roddy Radke, Alex Terrible, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's
actually the Grammys were after the last one, but that's kind of, it's been a few weeks now. It's not really there was the talk before because they were like nominated and stuff, so it was kind of being you know. Sleep Token are now on RCA Records. That's kind of the only major thing that we've not touched on, but
that is a good talking point though. No, that we should talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I made a little bit of a video. I had like a side channel. I just kind of put out my thoughts there because like I'm stoked for the band. I'm excited that they're signed to such a major label, same label as like, I don't know, Christina Aguilera, Cage the Elephant, Britney Spears. Massive label. My concern is, you know, I have a good relationship with Spine Farm Records since doing the Sleep Token videos. But now, obviously, it's going to RCA, and RCA, you know, big labels like that don't give a shit about the smaller content creators. Like, good luck. So, are we going to get copyright blocks? Like, this could hinder reaction videos, and that's a big dilemma. And considering that Sleep Token got massively popular off reaction videos too, like it feels like it's going to be a really shitty thing if they get copyright blocks and all that stuff.
Yes, that is the risk. And we'll see what happens. You know, hopefully they have enough weight and power to be like, no, this is something we value, and we want people to be able to, you know, check out our music and share that online in the way that we've been doing. But it might be completely out of their hands, and that's the trade-off. And we'll see.
Well, you know what?
Sorry, go ahead, Burp.
Sorry, I just want to say, like, luckily, like, you know what happened when Spine Farm was actually trying to, they had a copyright block on "Do You Wish That You Could Love Me?" And I remember I shouted that out on Twitter, just basically saying, hey, there's a copyright block, and I was tagging at Spine Farm, can you please get this solved? And then the tweet was blowing up. People are like, they want to see my Sleep Token video. Like, how come it's happening? So it's like, now, like, Spine Farm is getting well aware of the situation. So with RCA, if that happens, go and do the same thing. Blow it up on Twitter. Hey guys, no Sleep Token video unless RCA figures it out, and just put them on full blast. And if other content creators do the same thing, eventually word will get out, and it's going to make them look really bad, and inherently kind of make Sleep Token look a little bit bad because of default, right?
So they'll be guilty by association, even though they might have nothing to do with any of that stuff. But it was tricky. I was like initially very positive, and it's great news for the band themselves. They're gonna get so much exposure and amazing opportunities as a result. But it also feels like they might become so out of reach for the fans that have kind of helped and enjoyed them on the way. But sure, we'll see. Yeah,
I think the main thing that I'm thinking of when, you know, I hear of the potential that videos will be blocked, like obviously it's going to be a nightmare and it's going to be so annoying and whatever. But I think it will just come down to people are still like, because of what it can do for your channel and stuff, especially their next album cycle, it's going to be huge for, you know, ourselves and just everyone involved. Anyone who's trying to get involved doing reviews or reactions or just talking about the band, you know, they're already huge. Anyone that talks about them is obviously a huge, you know, it's a popular talking point. So even with the blocks, you guys know, having dealt with all sorts of, like, I've been dealing with blocked videos for years. There's ways around it. Now, obviously, you kind of have to butcher your own video. But I think what happens is then people get so frustrated with all of the botched videos that they realize, okay, well, it's not actually the creator. And then, like you said, the end point ends up being that people are just frustrated with the labels anyway, you know, which I think the general consensus, a lot of the labels are getting a bit of a better name at the moment, you know, from the last couple of months. I know we discussed it, you know, in a little bit more detail in private in London and stuff, but, you know, from my own experience, I've seen a few different labels. I had relationships with labels before, but I think for me, just having dealt with blocks before, you just find a way around it, whether it means to kind of destroying your own video by like chopping it up just so that you can get to your points, you know, your talking points. That will be the case. You know, you might have like a small segment of the reaction. Whether it will actually stop and halt reactions completely, I don't think so. I think it will still be the same number of people doing it, but it will just mean the quality of the video will be, you know, hindered. So it just kind of like, again, it comes back to the argument of like, why do the labels put so much effort into going ahead and blocking? You know, I can understand to a certain extent the copyright claim, but the block, it just seems like, you know,
Yeah,
it will still be out. You know, people will find a way to blur it or chop it every couple of seconds. You know, no one really wins because the video still goes out. The quality of the content is just kind of worse because it's just a video that keeps chopping every 2 seconds. People get annoyed. They complain to the creator. The creator says, well, it's actually not me, it's the label. And this is happening to everyone's channel, you know?
And you know what? Like, if it's a massive faff for the bigger bands and the bigger labels, fine. I want to reaction videos to their stuff. You know what? They don't need it. And like the community's already built, they got a bunch of fans. Fine. We'll focus on smaller bands.
Yeah.
Like it at that point, it'd be like, it is what it is.
For sure. But the unfortunate thing is, and just to kind of play devil's advocate there, is that because they are the bigger bands, you know, obviously there's always going to be that lure to just check it out anyway. You know, you just kind of take the L on certain videos because of what it can still do for your channel in terms of bringing in new audience, which can then, you know, translate over to new viewers for smaller bands. Because even if we stop, there's going to be 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 other channels that are starting out. They're still going to check it out. You know what I mean? So you're still going to have that influx of people always checking it out because that's just the nature of being a popular band, I guess. So, you know, it's that Catch, was it Catch 22? Is that the... Yeah, Catch 22.
Yeah.
I was about to say Catch 33 because I'm a Sugar fan. But anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, sure. We'll hope for the best. Prepare for the worst.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, the one bright side for sure is that Sleep Token's obviously going to have a bigger budget. That means, you know, the music videos, who knows? We're probably going to get some more music videos, maybe. Who knows? The production value is just going to be insane.
I don't know if I even want that. I like their little, like, slow visualizations. You just really focused on the music. You know?
Yeah, really cool.
No, I get that, but you know, they're growing, they're getting bigger. I think the era of Sleep Token that we enjoyed so far, I think it's going to change. So it won't be the same. Just got to embrace the change. I just hope that they don't lose their metal edge, because that's honestly a big reason why I like Take Me Back to Eden, and I didn't care for The Place Will Become Your Tomb. I'm just like, give me the metal. Don't just be a soft pop band.
And even beyond the metal, like Take Me Back to Eden had R&B moments that the previous records did not have. Like, those were risks and changes, and that's part of their DNA, is to try different things. So like, it's very
juicy
possible.
Breakdowns though.
Yeah.
That's why it worked.
Yeah.
Do You Wish That You Love Me was the miss on Take Me
I
Back
love
to Eden.
that song, actually. That's a great song.
It's all right.
General consensus was it was the miss. Yeah, I agree with Burb on that one. Like, just that's like the
I don't know. I didn't really like the apparition that much.
I can't do it, man. But yeah.
Oh, it's so jaunty.
We'll give you that. Because it's a good word. But, you know.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm going to change the topic anyway, because, like, there hasn't been too much spicy stuff happening in terms of February. It's been a little bit slow. Another thing was kind of big that happened was Knock Loose, and I feel like this is a little bit of a polarizing band. I'm a big fan of Knock Loose, and I know the vocal's going to be polarizing. What do you guys think of the new song?
Well, it did make it to Steve's main channel, so Steve hated it.
Hate's a strong word. I said it was. I felt bad about it. I did say halfway decent, which is one of my lower ratings.
I'm only joking.
It's just the vocal. Like, I fucking think the music's great, and I love the song writing within it. I love the passion. I love the anger. But there's something about that frequency. It's like the Saint Anger snare drum sound. Like, you kind of go, oh, that's interesting, that's different. But if it's that way the whole song, you're like, I'm tired of that sound. And I think if he had more variation within his vocal delivery and had those, like, high frequency scream things as a sparing, like, real knock loose motherfucker moments, great. But for the whole song, I'm just like, I'm just not there yet. And I use the word, I might need, like, exposure therapy. I might eventually get there. But right now,
Steve, have you seen the meme of that went really viral on Instagram and TikTok of, like, how hardcore bands choose their vocalist? It is the best. Burb, please tell me you've seen this.
Oh, I share on my Instagram story. You stupid fucking poo-poo.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember exactly what he says, but if this becomes a clip, it's on the screen right now, and oh my god, it's Steve. I gotta send it to you after. It's the most accurate thing ever. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, I can't even. I won't do it justice. I won't bother. But it was like just playing into the whole, like, hardcore vocalist stereotype. Yeah, exactly. You know, the real high pitched vocals, but Yeah.
But
it was
what
so
were you
good.
getting at there, Burb? Is there something about the new Knock Loose that's of interest?
Well, the band is just getting really big, right? They played Coachella, like they're a massive band, and the fact that a band like that is kind of getting the traction that they are is kind of unusual because it's very like it's more raw sounding than a lot of modern metalcore, like buttcore, like the overproduced stuff, basic kind of stuff. This is a band that is abrasive, structures are unpredictable, massive filthy breakdowns. Why is this band blowing up? And I think that's such a cool thing. Like, I know the vocals for sure are polarizing. Anytime I make any Knock Loose kind of content, there's always going to be comments like, I can't stand the Mickey Mouse vocals. And like, I get it. It took me a while to warm up to it. The reason why I like the vocals is that his delivery and also like it's just so unique. Like when if they had a different just hardcore vocalist, I don't think the band would be as successful, right? It would just sound like, by the numbers, metalcore, hardcore, sure, great instrumentals, but that vocals really makes them stand out. And sometimes you need those polarizing kind of members where like Sleep Token, right? They're fucking very polarizing.
I was about to say.
Go ahead. Sound off.
Yeah, you're right. What works is uniqueness at the end of the day, because even like Bob Dylan is a shit singer, but he's got a really unique voice and therefore he stands out. People go like, what is this? Does this have value? Oh, it kind of does. The lyrics are interesting, the songwriting is great. You need to stand out, so you be the peacock that rises above the chickens, as it were, and that's how you differentiate. And that's what Sleep Token have managed to do,
Knocking on Heaven's Door. I thought he's saying pretty good. No, I gotta listen again.
Steve's just opened up a whole different hole of hate coming.
I
for
don't
these
think
videos
our
now.
audience will really care what I think about Bob
They'll
Dylan.
find us. The Bob Dylan fans are going to find us, Steve. And if they do, we know who to blame.
Oh, and they'll throw their Zimmer frames at us. We'll be fine.
I'm more of a
he's
fan of
doubling down.
Bob Dylan's younger, her son's band, the Wallflowers. You know the Wallflowers, right?
Heard the name, but I don't know.
Oh no! One Headlight is like one of the greatest rock songs of all time. Anyway, you're right. The audience is like, who? No, I doubt it.
The audience, I'm sitting here like, what is happening right now?
No, the audience, they know.
Well, no,
Especially
sorry,
the Discord community, like, man, I'm sure you can agree, Drew, but like some people in the Discord, they know their shit. Like, oh my god, how do you have the time of the day to listen to everything? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's sorry, that's like, I mean, what you were talking about earlier. Like, I mean, when you were talking about like the nature of what we do is like people kind of expect us to know everything. But if anything, we actually, I can only speak for myself, of course, but I would imagine it's much the same with yourselves. That I probably listen to like a lot less music than the majority of people because I reserve anything that I want to listen to for a video. And if, I only have so much time in the day. I don't know if we spoke about this in the last podcast, but I actually don't listen to, the only music I listen to is music I've heard before. So I don't go discovering bands by myself, that's just it, because I know one day there'll be a moment where I find, because it happened with Bad Omens for me. I checked out their new album by myself because I was like, you know what? I don't really know this band too well. I'm going to check out their new album, and I fucking loved it. And I was so annoyed that I didn't film my reaction to it,
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was such a big opportunity in terms of like how popular that album became. So I was like, fuck, man. But so that's what I mean. Like, it's like I'll only ever, and I'll never do that again now, having, the experience of missing out on being able to check out that and wanting to go back and see my reaction to that full album because I loved it so much,
I agree to an extent. I think there are some people that listen to everything constantly, but I think, sure, we might listen to less music than some people, but I think in the long term, since we're constantly doing metal content for years and years, I think we listen to much more music than obviously the average listener. But then there are some people in the community that are constantly listening to new and new and new and new things, and then that's where they feed us what they think is the best songs to us. They comment, they donate, and then we make videos around those songs or bands, right? And this is like how this is such a community-based thing. And I might drift off the conversation a little bit, but I really feel like reaction content is almost like a little bit of a thankless job in the grand scheme of the music scene, because I really feel like we are the ones that are pushing some of these upcoming bands onto people's ears, right? And Sleep Token, Spirit Box, some of these bands got massive through reaction videos, and by the time that they get big, they don't even think about reaction content. But we were the ones at the beginning really pushing them out, right?
Yeah, for sure. And if anything, it's the opposite. There's some bands that are just completely against it, regardless of whether or not you're positive towards their bands, so I get you. Yeah, it's a little bit of a, I guess, a thankless job for sure. Now I guess I look at it from that perspective now that it is technically my job, which is always a mental thing to even think about. But I guess, look, just got to keep doing your thing, you know. Just got to keep enjoying it, and whatever comes.
If
with
it's
it,
fun,
that's it. You know,
if it's
a bit
fun,
of fun.
keep doing it. Yeah, I'm fortunate in the way that it's, you know, as much as I'd like it to be my job, it isn't, and therefore I can just do it for the fun. I don't have to worry about that, and so I don't need the thanks. I don't really care if a video gets 100 views or 10,000. It doesn't really matter currently,
for sure.
Which is kind of helpful. And I guess in terms of we're certainly helping smaller bands get discovered, because we have audiences that it scales. But it might not be that different from folks who don't have a channel. It's just like, well, this is a new band I've discovered. They tell all their friends in the metal scene or whoever it is that they're connecting. It's that, but just at scale. And that's where the value comes. But also to talk about briefly what we were talking about earlier in terms of knowledge of the scene or bands and the quantity of music, the rest. It might not be that we listen to more music than anyone else. And I don't think that is the value. I think the way we listen to them is different. There is a difference between an active listening session that you would do if you're reacting to something, trying to pick apart what is the bass doing, what's the guitar doing, what is the structure versus everything else I've heard, and how would I critique this? Which for the most part, if you listen to new music, you think, do I like it? Do I like it? Do I like it? Do I like it? Oh, I like this. Yeah, I like this. At least that's how I would if I'm not doing a reaction thing. But it's a different process when you're doing it going, this is going to be a critique that's going to exist in a video form. It is a different, I'm going to say a fucking corporate word because I also have a corporate job, value proposition.
Oh, God.
For me, like, I'm
back to the office and now you're just making me have shivers here, Steve.
Yeah, stay in fucking content world. It's much better. But yeah, for me, like, I certainly am not the channel to come to when it comes to like understanding genre definitions. I couldn't fucking tell you what buttcore is. I've heard of butt rock. I don't know what buttcore is. Or like, what is prog rock? What is post-hardcore? I don't know the definitions. I couldn't tell you 6 bands in each one.
Nobody does, Steve. Nobody does. Everyone has their own definition.
I'm a genre nerd. I definitely am.
That's great. That is your USP. Mine is like the multi-instrumentalist, so I can give that. I don't have the genre or the wealth of scene historic like band development stuff to draw on either. I'm much stupider in terms of that stuff.
That's why I'm fighting for cum metal. That's a genre.
It's gonna lose, sir. Actually, I've not talked to you since. Between that last podcast we did, between the last time we talked and now, I went to see Bring Me the Horizon, supported by Bad Omens, and I can't remember who else was playing there. And I was trying to support you with the cum metal. I liked it. It's a very jaunty and it's a very universal term. However, seeing the audience at that gig, baddiecore is the correct term.
I don't know about correct. Hold up. It's not the correct term, but we lost to the giant Nick Nocturnal pushing it. Once he says something, it is what it is. But like
Craig Reynolds as well. Like
it's just it's got massive people behind it. So cum metal's the underdogs, but to me, that's something that's forever. Baddie, that's a term that's going to get old. Like that's a trendy term for now. But cum metal is something that's been around since the 80s or 70s. Come on, feel the noise.
Cum is forever. Okay.
Oh,
girls rock your boys.
You're gonna get some new Metal Bird merch line. It's gonna say "Cum is forever" across the front.
I know, right? It's been the ongoing joke with, like, I have toned it down a little bit. Like, it's just so stupid. It's so like my channel went from like, well, I was going to say PG, but I drop a lot of F-bombs. But like, it went from that to all of a sudden cum metal. Just like, what the
it's
fuck?
The top 10 cum metal songs. It's like, oh my god. I enjoyed how much fun you had with that video, though. Just kind of like laughing your way through, trying to get through.
Oh yeah, friggin' health, man. It's all health. That band. Yeah.
Funny.
Shall we pivot onto? I want to ask you a question because I got asked this question before. I did actually talk about it, but I think my opinion has changed quite a lot on it since I last answered this question. So the question I shall pose, which is from someone on my Discord, and I completely forgot to take their name, so I am sorry. I should have done that, but I'm not going to go through
I can look it up. What chat was it in?
I'll have it right now. Oh, here it is. Hold on. It's, oh my god, everyone on my Discord has the most mental names ever, and it's MYM, because this is all a piss take from my stream the other day. So it's Vic, all right? It's MYM, Vic, MYM. Oh, fuck's sake, I can't believe they got me saying that. That's a whole different joke that they're going to love that I just said that. Anyway, they said, game idea. Metal band version of fantasy football where you choose 4 members from any band. So, let me think. Do we want to do 4 members or we can make it 5? We'll go bass player, guitar player, lead vocalist, and a drummer. Let's just make it simple. Let's do 4.
Oh, I love this idea.
We're doing our dream band, all right? And you have to choose a member for each position to fill each position, and it has to be your, like, it can be from, let's keep it metal, you know, let's keep it like progressive metal, maybe
all alive.
All alive.
Current day supergroup, or are we going? I think let's go current day.
Let's go current day, because we've
otherwise Elvis Presley's going to
bands
show
today.
up.
Yeah.
Can I go first? I feel like I already got it down
You can
pat.
go. Because I don't think I even have mine in my head right now. So we'll let Burb take the wheel here. So Burb, you're a vocalist.
Vocalist. I want to go. What about scream vocalist, clean vocalist, lead guitar, rhythm guitar?
Okay, right. Jesus Christ.
You need 2 vocalists? Oh man, I got one vocalist that can do both.
You can do that. That's a fair answer. You can be like, cleans this person.
He's gonna say. You're gonna say Manuel, aren't you? Are you gonna
Me?
do it? No,
Me?
you're gonna say From a Process. That's the only guy.
No. My dream band might surprise you guys.
Okay. So, do we want to go with Burb taking the wheel here? Are you gonna? You sound like you're raring to go here, Burb. So, I'll let you take the wheel. So let's say start with bass, because we're gonna do bass dirty like that. Okay. So start with the bass, and it can't be a laptop or a CPU. Okay, it cannot be laptop or CPU for bass.
Easy.
It has to be an actual person.
I got it.
Bass.
I got it.
Give us bass.
So the bass is Evan Brewer.
Okay.
Phenomenal bassist. He's absolutely wild.
For who?
For the band.
He's just like, he did like a solo project. Evan Brewer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Evan
and then he did a
Brewer.
couple. He was in a couple bands too. Who do you want to know next?
Let's go. Let's keep it on the strings. Let's go guitar.
Guitar will be Luke Hoskin from Protest the Hero.
Right. Okay. We're just gonna go one. We're gonna go one guitar and make it even harder, Steve. So we're not gonna do this.
Fine.
You know, we're not gonna do rhythm lead.
I accept.
2 vocalists. Let's make it real hard. So let's go drummer now for Burb.
Drummer is Eric Imprada, who is the drummer to Night Versus and Fever 3
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. That's a good one. I didn't even think of that. Jesus. There's gonna be someone that I miss in mine. But anyway, lead vocalist.
Dustin Kensrue from Thrice.
Right.
Oh,
Okay. Right. Okay.
I don't know how Dustin and Luke Hoskin will work together. Like, those are 2 completely different styles.
Yeah.
I think the guitarist needs to be a little bit different, but those are some of my favorite members. But right now, I know Dustin and Eric and Evan Brewer would be fucking insane. Luke can shred though. But those
the band doesn't have to work. This is fantasy. This is fantasy world, you know, that we're living in. So, Steve.
Sir,
you've had a bit of time to think, right?
Yeah, I've literally been Googling
trying
names.
to buy time here as well, because I posed this question, I don't have my own in my head, and now I'm like, why did I pose this question without knowing my own? But anyway, Steve, give us your bass player.
Even in just this moment, I've changed my mind on one of them. Bass player, I think it has to be Justin Chancellor of Tool.
Fuck, you can't steal my answer. Okay. Okay, no, I have to think something else now. Okay, so Justin Chancellor. Now I have to think now. I'm just buying more time here. Anyway, guitarist.
I'm so torn on this one. My initial thought, so as a shout out runner up, was Michael Stringer from Spirit Box. I'm gonna go Wes Borland of Limp Bizkit. The man is a fucking god, like innovative like Tom Morello, but he's got the beefiness, the heaviness of metal within there. I think he's a genius. Wes Borland.
Fantastic. And then where do we go next? We went drums.
That's easy. It's 2.
Okay, yeah. I should have seen that one coming. Okay, shall we put, because I feel like I'm guessing where you're going this. You can't use 2 of the same bands. You can't use.
I like that.
Okay. I was expecting you to go Vessel just after her too, so I was like, okay, let's not let him do that. Let's put a big roadblock down. Vocalist, please.
That is almost impossible. I mean, obviously, I think Celine Dion, because she just has. That's the correct answer. One of the greatest voices
that would be a
in humanity.
Collab, to be fair.
Oh,
that'd be interesting. That's
imagine her in like a symphonic metal band. It'd be incredible.
Yeah.
She'd be dope. But I'm gonna go to Metal Burb's point of one vocalist that can maybe do it all. It's Courtney LaPlante, I think, for me.
That's I mean, Yeah,
it's a good band.
That's a solid. Wait, no, you can't do. We've said they can't be the same member, Steve, and you broke the rules.
I didn't. I went away from Michael Stringer. I went.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Right. Okay. Never mind. I'm
So it's two.
I'm still trying to buy more time.
It's Justin
here.
Sanseler, it's Wes Borland, and Courtney LaPlante. I'd watch the fuck out of that show.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of style of music would that be?
Progressive, genty new metal.
Yeah. I want to change my guitarist actually, so it's officially out there. I realize Luke Hoskin doesn't work. I'm gonna do Paul Wagner from Between the Bear and Me because he's so versatile and he can do any versatility with Dustin Kendry's vocals.
Sick. Sounds good.
True.
Fuck, it's on to me now. Okay, right. Let me think. Bass.
Do you know the names of any other bassists than Justin Chancellor?
Yes,
that's the first question.
I am thinking off the top of my head now. See, just because I did this one before on stream, and I made a clip out of it, and I was looking back at it, and I was like, you know what? There's actually so many more members that I could have included for that spot, but I just didn't think of them off the top of my head. It would have been initially Justin Chancellor from Till, but, and I don't even think it's because he's like the most technical player in the world or anything like that. It's just because he's just so iconic, and I love
cool
Till,
feel.
so it's like, you know, just have him in there. I'm sure he's going to work some magic. My brain is going to, because it's maybe fresh in my mind as well, Amos from Tesseract, just another iconic bass player in the, you know, modern progressive scene. Again, not the most technical player of all time, but he just slots so well into that band, and, you know, I'm gonna go with that for the sake of me sitting here for another 20 minutes trying to think of another bass player. But guitarist, and this one's tough as well, because the last time I said John Brown for Monuments, and I'm trying to think of another guitarist that I really have grown to love more than I just love John Brown's style. I'm gonna say John Brown still. I still love John Brown for Monuments. I love his style overall. It's just so fun, so noodly. He does the whole kind of like sugar genty stuff, but he also has all these dissonant notes and writes such huge choruses with these massive chords, you know, and even just like learning some of their music, it just makes me appreciate how fucking talented that guy is as well. He's just an absolute, he's like a little evil genius, so
he's fast with his right hand too.
Yes. All down picking. And then my drummer, Jesus, I don't know who to choose for this. Honestly, the Night vs. Vocalist was a great show, but I would have never thought of that. I think maybe
the drummer,
yeah. Wait, did you say the Night vs. Drummer?
They did have a vocalist at one point.
No, you said the Night versus vocalist.
Night versus Drummer.
But he did say Eric as well.
Did I say? I'm confused. Okay, anyway, regardless, I'm going to choose someone else. Who am I choosing? I'm thinking maybe, again, not a drummer, but just from bands that I really enjoy. Maybe Mario Deplante, Gojira, I reckon. I'd probably go with Mario Deplante. Great fucking drummer. You know, some fantastic songs. Art of Dying, one of the most disgusting songs I've ever heard. And that whole drum intro is just... So that alone wins in my spot. And vocalists. Oh my God, I haven't thought about this one at all. The last time I think I said Andy Szek for Monuments, which I would withdraw that statement. Great vocalist.
He's amazing, very impressive.
He's fantastic. He's insanely talented. You know, his range is like one of the best in the scene, and I think that's more so what I was looking at. But I think just for my style at the moment and what I'm into, I don't think I'd go with him. Man, I'm thinking like fucking someone who I'd love to have in my band would probably be the Slice the Cake vocalist. Like, he's just come into my mind for some reason. I like
very good.
Slice the, I don't know what his name is, which is
Garrett.
Is that a band name?
Garrett, I'm pretty sure.
They don't exist anymore. They separated, but that kind of brings me into wanting to have him in the band a little bit more. That's kind of
very good vocalist. Yeah,
never heard of
Garrett.
that.
I'm 99% sure.
Yeah, because I feel like he can do a lot. Like, I mean, cleans wise, he from what I've heard, doesn't go down that route too much.
Gareth,
yeah. But anyway, the band is separated now anyway. They've gone separate ways, but I think that's kind of more drawing me into picking him, and just some of his like creativity, you know, it's just phenomenal. He's got great lows, great mids, great screams in general, but he has this real creative kind of like narration that he does in his tracks as well. He almost like tells a story whilst, you know, talking about an album, and it's just fantastic. So that would be me. So Amos from Tesseract, John Brown Monuments, Gojira, Mario Deplante, and then Gareth from Slice the Cake. That's a fucking random combo, but
that's a prog metal band to a T right there.
Yeah, that's very technical.
Yes,
that one.
Yeah, very technical. Yeah, for sure. That's just off the dome, but I'm sure I probably missed a lot as well. But yeah,
And I'm sure just by us uttering this, those groups will form, and we can enjoy their records.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Let's hope it, man. Let's hope. Let's see what they can come up with. Who knows? But,
when are we forming a band, folks? I'll be drums. We got two guitarists. Who can sing?
I'll be on vocals happily, because I know Bird's
I don't know, man. I've seen your streams.
Guitar, man. That's what I mean. You want that, like, that those dynamic shifts from different ranges. Off kilter. I have the effects pedal here as well. Did that echo for you guys, or is it just me?
Reverb.
So I can throw that in. I've got a bit of reverb. I got a bit of echo. I can do it all. I've got the Shure SM7B, the industry standard for vocals. So that wasn't sponsored, by the way. But yeah, that was a fun segment. What do you reckon?
That was a good idea. Yeah.
Now I have the one more, which I think is going to be the real fun one, because this is one I've seen.
Closer.
This could be the closer. I think we're at an hour now. This is perfect. So closer. Now I sent you guys a voice note about this earlier, right? And I want to know your opinions, because I've seen loads of these on TikTok, like just random like football accounts and like sports things doing these. So I'm sure people who maybe are into the TikTok world will understand how this game works. But for anyone who doesn't know, this is how it's going to work. So in very short summary, the game is called Blind Rating and then X. So our topic is going to be blind rating bands. So the idea is, and I don't know how well it's going to work just like this, but we'll give it our best shot. So we're going to start off with, I'm going to choose, because I've curated a list for Steve and Burb individually, and they're going to answer individually. And I'm going to give Burb and Steve 5 different bands. So I'm going to name one band first, and I'm going to go, Steve, okay, this is the band I'm giving you, and Steve has to blind rate the band from 1 to 5 without knowing the other bands that I have on the list. So obviously Steve will have his favorite bands. Again, I don't fully know exactly which bands Steve, loves the most, and I don't know exactly which, who Burb would have in his top 5 and who Steve would have in his top 5. But the idea is they have to try and take the information that I'm giving them one by one and try and make sure that the list would match their actual preference for, band 1 to 5. So it'll be easier to just explain this by going into it. So the first band I have for Steve, we'll start with Steve. So from Steve, from 1 to 5.
Yeah, I hear you.
Invent Anime, where are you putting them from 1 to 5?
Fuck me.
I'm not pulling punches with this one. I'm not pulling punches.
They're high up. I want to save a couple of top spots in case.
So just to clarify, 1 is your favorite, 5 is Steve's favorite.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not going to put them in the 1. I'm gonna put them in the 3. I'm gonna hedge my bets.
Okay.
They're great. I think there's other bands I'm bigger on, but they're a fucking phenomenal band.
Okay, right.
3.
So, how do I want to order this? Okay.
Exactly.
Let's go with Architects.
Oh, fuck you. Okay.
5th band, so I'm currently
Architects. I'm in my current world. If this was a couple of years ago, it might be different, but I'm gonna say they're not at the level of what Invent Anime are doing for me currently. So I'm gonna put Architects at number. Fuck. I'm worried about putting them in 5 or 4, but it's I'm gonna fuck you. This is hard. I'm gonna say 4.
Okay, so you have Invent Anime 3.
Yeah.
Architects 4.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, bearing in mind, I had to consider which bands I know for a fact that you know a good bit of their discography from the bands that I know, so I took that into account. Mm-hmm. Okay, I've just added this band now because they're literally just on my screen, and if you couldn't already tell, I'm a fan of them. Tesseract. You know Tesseract, yeah? You do know.
Yes.
You know enough of them to rate them accordingly and properly.
Yeah. And I'm already putting myself in a corner here, but
careful, Steve.
I know.
I'm watching you.
I know. I'm going to put them in 5. Now, I think they're brilliant, and I really like them. They're fantastic. And now I'm worried about the last 2. That's what I'm worried about.
Okay, right. So next one I have for you is Bring Me the Horizon.
Okay. Well, that's fine, because I would put them higher than the rest already, so it's 1 or 2. If you're gonna say Sleep Token afterwards, I don't want to put them at 1. That's basically the risk. But now I've just told you basically what not to say. I'm gonna put Bring Me the Horizon in at number 2.
Fuck you, Steve. Fuck you, Steve.
Kind.
I'm like scrolling my Spotify right now. I'm like another band.
Who is my number one favorite?
You ruined it, Steve, man.
I won the game.
I literally went through your YouTube and was like, right, what bands do I know that Steve has knows a lot about? And I'm sure there's fucking thousands, but I was like, right, obvious ones. And then I was like, how do I order it so it doesn't become obvious? And I couldn't have made it more obvious, so I fucked it.
Well, let me.
My life.
I won. I'm pleased with that. It's great.
You actually did. So you have Sleep Token 1.
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon. That's probably the exact order you probably would have put them in.
Yeah. Architects, Tesseract.
Is Sleep Token like your favorite band?
Yeah.
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 Okay, so that couldn't have gone any worse in terms of the actual fun of that game. But,
well, I'll come back to you now. I've got 5 bands for you.
Fuck. Okay, right.
And I think I'm gonna have you nailed.
I'll get mine out of the way for Burb first, and then you can do the rounds. I think that probably works better. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
So Burb, and now I'm like really worried about how I put this one. Okay.
Interesting.
Burb, I posed to you the first band. Rating 1 to 5. Imminence.
Yeah, this is a little tough, isn't it? I'll probably put them at 4.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
I enjoy the clarifications. Why 4?
Why 4? I like them, but I look, I love the guys in the band, okay? Just their music, I can get a little bit old by their music. I honestly was ready to put them in 5 because of that, but I'm worried that he's going to give me a band that I really can't get into. So I'm leaving my number 5 open.
Okay, right. Let me see. I'm like live changing the list around as well. Okay. Number 2 for you is Loathe.
Oh, that's a good one, dude. Look, I have a feeling that you don't have Thrice on this list, even though Thrice would be an easy number 1 for me.
But you know what? I actually do, but I said that's too obvious, so I'm just going to... After this...
Oh,
I've moved
shit.
it out. I've already swapped it. I've swapped it, Steve, because your one just has thrown me off. I'm like, I can't do one that's that obvious because I don't know what's the best way to order it, because if I do it 1, he's going to choose 1 straight away, but if I leave it late, but... Yeah, okay, so continue.
All right, number 2 is Loathe.
Loathe, okay, right.
Yeah.
Should have fucking left Thrice in. Okay.
I love them. I love Loathe, but the why they're not number 1 is because they don't have too much variety yet, because they just don't have enough music right now. Right? Yeah. My number 1 would be a band that has so much versatility where you can listen to them in any mood.
Yeah. No, that's a good answer. That's fair enough. Okay, next up we got Lorna Shore.
Probably 5.
Okay.
I'm going to put them as 5 because again, they get way too old too fast for me.
Okay, right.
Let's be real. Yeah, the newest album, Pain Remains, was To the Hellfire times 9, or how many tracks that album was.
Yeah,
just saying.
That's fair, man. You're allowed your opinions. Okay.
So now you got a 3 and a 1 available, right?
Yeah, 3 and a 1 available. Are we correct? 1 and 3.
Yep.
Yes, you are. Okay. So let's see. Spirit Box.
3.
Okay. Right. You see, I have to just stick with who I was going to give you now. So your number 1 is now by default the band. Should I just say it? Who I had on the list?
Is it Thrice?
No.
No, you took that out. So it's a Sleep Token. No,
it is Gojira. I just threw on Gojira. See, this is the problem. It's supposed to be like you're
You
supposed to have
Gojira?
an app. I had Gojira. Yeah, I just was like, let's just throw in bands that I'm assuming you'll have known a lot about. So, yeah.
Wow, you fucked me over.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
Gojira, your favorite
but
band.
That's what you
I
have
didn't
to
know that.
like. It's based on those 5 bands that are in the list. But I guess Thrice. Yeah, I don't know. I should have just left it in because then you would have even.
It would
more
have been perfect if Thrice was there. Yeah.
But I think I would have put Thrice at that point, and you would have put them at 1 anyway. Like no matter when I said Thrice, it was going to be number 1, unless it was the last one. But
that's
then I was like, that's too
obvious,
So yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping that you guys have made a list that's structured better. This is harder to do than I thought it was going to be. I was like, I'll just name 5 random bands.
I've done lists. I think I've got you nailed, both of you. I think it's going to be tricky for you. So back to you, Drew. Your first band is Tesseract.
Bollocks. Okay. Is there any? I'm thinking. Is there any bands that are going to be ahead of those?
That's
Probably not 1. Fuck it. I'm going. Just. I have to do it because I'll kick myself if not.
You are fresh off the gig. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Your second band is Humanity's Last Breath.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say 5. Love the guys, but just I feel like because you said you know me very well, I feel like the rest of the bands will probably slot into my like daily listening slots a lot more. Humanity's Last Breath are fantastic, but 5.
Okay. Your next band is Bring Me the Horizon.
2. Yeah, easy.
Okay. You're doing well. Your next band is Era.
4. What have I stuck in 3 there? It's gonna be Bad Omens or Sleep Token or like my wall here. Sugar? No, I don't know. What is it?
I went for the slightly underwhelming Silent Planet.
Oh, that's probably still the order.
It's a better order than I expected.
That would probably still be the. Do you know what? Recently, maybe Bring Me number 1, Tesseract 2, and then Silent Planet. Maybe just because if it was those 5 bands for like the rest of my life, if we're looking at it that way, I'd probably put Humanities over Era, just because they offer a little bit more of that, like, you know, chaos that doesn't necessarily come from those other bands. So maybe I'd put Era 5, but I'm happy with that. You know, I'm happy. I can sleep well tonight knowing that that's my list.
Well done. Good. Over to Metal Burb. Your first band, and I'm going to try and make this real hard for you.
Okay, let's go.
Your first one is Relica.
Relica, let's put them at 4.
Okay.
They don't have enough music.
Okay, not enough music yet. That's a very good political answer. Well done. Your next band is Johnny Booth.
Ooh, probably 3.
3, okay. So 1, 2, and 5.
I like how this is setting up.
Mm-hmm.
Your third band is Health.
Probably 5.
Okay.
That's a tough one. That's not easy.
Your fourth band is Thrice.
Oh, okay. Number 1.
And your last one is Sleep Token.
Okay.
2. That's perfect.
That you've actually nailed the list. Like I was expecting.
It was genuinely harder than I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh, this is going to have everyone sweating, but like, it's very dependent on how you order them. You have to order it very particularly to make sure you kind of trick them a bit, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, let me put it back on you guys. So actually, since Steve just got me, let me get him.
Yeah, let's go.
First band is Anchor.
Ah, shit. Fuck you. Anchor, I'm gonna put at 4 because the new singles are fucking incredible. But their previous album was not quite as spicy for me. So not enough music in the realm of the new stuff for me. 4's I'm gonna cushion it there.
Okay. Beartooth.
I'm going to put them at number 2.
Oh, okay. Blink-182.
I'm going to put them at this. That's hard because that's a whole catalog of lifetime of memories, Herb. I'm going to put them at number 5.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, interesting. System of a Down.
They can go at 3.
Okay. And so now you're number 1. Lorna Shore.
A lifetime of pain remains.
Yeah. You've completely done me there.
That's the best one, man. You've done him.
Well done. Good job.
Bravo.
Okay. Is it your turn, Drew?
I think so, okay. Man. Hit me.
Tool.
Fuck. Wow.
Herb is so much better at this game than we are.
I'm not going to cop out. I'm going to make it a little bit more interesting and say 2 for now because I said 1 last time and just kind of ruined it. So 2.
Okay.
Tool.
Interesting. Okay. Meshuggah.
You are doing me dirty here. Man, see, it could be 1, but I'm just waiting out for another bigger band that could easily be. I'm taking a risk. Three. We're putting them at 3.
Okay. North Lane.
Oh man, this is the worst ever. Like, this is actually tough. Bollocks. 1. Fuck it. 1.
Okay. Leprous.
Oh, 5.
Damn. Okay.
There's almost no
I think I did it right
hesitation.
here, did I? No, just compared to those, like, I'm already happy with the latter part of my list. So
So what's missing? Is it 4?
4, yeah.
4 is missing. Yes. What do I have in 4th?
Viljarta.
I'll take it. I think of those, I would probably listen. Like, when it comes to just daily listens, if this was like 5 bands for the rest of my life, I would happily. What was it? We had North Lane 1, 2 was Tool.
No Tool.
With Sugar.
Oh, and then 3 Sugar.
Yeah.
4
Viljarta.
Viljarta, and then 5 Leopards. Yeah. I took a few risks in there, but they paid off. Let's go, boys.
You got it, man.
We got it, man. We got it. So Steve is the only one who really got like stitched up there, like Lauren Shaw for the rest of his life. You know?
Yeah.
Look, it is what it is.
I mean,
Steve.
the impressive live, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
And Will seems like a lovely gentleman,
Yeah,
but it's not my preferred go-to music.
for
I'd
sure.
say.
That was
Yeah.
fun. What? Be honest with me. Was that was a fun little section?
I had fun.
I was like, I feel like it might work a little bit better with the way it's supposed to. There's like a software or whatever, a TikTok filter that like
If it's random,
feeds you random bands from like anywhere, and you have to go off.
I
of that.
liked it this way because it was fun on the other side, being like, what should I say next?
Yeah, and it's like
I
we
had
have-
predefined my list and I just went with it.
Yeah, and we're basing it off of what we know of each other, whereas the app doesn't do that. It's just random, so maybe it works better the other way. But that was fun. That was a cool segment.
Nice. Jaunty. And
Jaunty.
this chat has been jaunty.
Absolutely.
So thanks, folks. It's been good to catch up.
That was
And,
fantastic. Episode 2,
Yeah,
baby.
we're still looking for a name for this thing. So let us know in the comments if you have a sweet, sexy name you think this should be. Because at the moment, I think it's Drew Burbo G, which we can do better.
Bros and bangers and bros.
Jaunty podcasts are some kind of variation of John. I actually kind of like that now that you've said it.
Jaunty Metal? Jaunty Metal?
Yeah, Jaunty.
Jaunty
Metal.
lads.
Jaunty. At this
The
point,
Jaunty
I'm just
lads.
like, get
Give
a
it a
fucking name. Like, you know,
I know, right?
before I was so like, no, it has to be like this. And now I'm just like, call it fucking Jaunty Podcast and just send it. But also, it's kind of like a nice raw feel to just Drew Burbo G. You know, it's like the least effort name I've ever seen, but I kind of like it, you know?
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, we'll let the comments. We'll give them this opportunity as the last time in the comments to, if you really want it to be this name, if you get something wild, it's very likely to be the name. But otherwise, we'll just fucking pick a random name out of a hat at this point.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for watching and enjoying. If you did, let us know what you thought of it. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you in, like, who knows, a month? We'll see.
Whenever something
we'll
crazy
Maybe
happens.
sooner, maybe sooner too. I'm down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Pleasure as always,
Thank you.
gents. Pleasure as always.
Always nice chatting with you guys.
Absolutely.
Cheers, folks.
And cut.